Well, with me in the studio is Hedley Aylott, who's Chief Executive of Online Retail Consultants Summit. Good to have you with us. Welcome to the Business Briefing.
Thank you.
It's really interesting when you look at where Amazon's growth has come from. I suppose some of it is in an area that people wouldn't necessarily think of. If you said, what does Amazon do? They wouldn't necessarily say to you, cloud computing services. But that seems to be where they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, very clever. 2006, first entrant to the market before anybody had thought of this. They now own over 50% of that market. And what's really interesting is the important part is it's a highly profitable area for them. Massive margins, very sticky. But what I think one point I'd like to make is that many of their competitors are actually fueling Amazon's growth in the most profitable area because they actually use those cloud computing. So Amazon, they take from their competitors in two ways, which is a very clever strategy.
Indeed. Very much so. And the other thing that they seem to have done that's quite skillful is they have managed to get people to willingly pay for a premium service, the Prime offering.
Well, I think that's great. So actually, isn't this the most amazing paid-for loyalty scheme in the world where people consider it's free delivery, and yet typically they're paying nearly £90 a year. They have to make between 15 deliveries to make that pay. Of course, they get the other services with it, but people's perception is that they're getting great value. And the other great thing there is that the things that make e-commerce important and effective are about free delivery and payment. And by buying Prime, it means that they have the most frictionless kind of e-commerce and difficult part of the shopping cart of anybody. So actually more people are likely to buy from them because of Prime.
There's talk of them becoming the first company to hit that magic $1 trillion stock market valuation. I suppose the danger with that, the other side of the coin, is that once a company starts to get that big, it starts to draw the attention of regulators, competition issues start to creep in, and it's become very clear that President Trump is not a fan of Amazon. Do you think it could almost be a poison chalice for them?
Well, I think the interesting thing is it's a problem if you're not diversified. But look at where the revenues are coming: strong cloud computing growth, and they're not dominating that market. There's good competition there. You've got advertising revenues which are growing, which are highly profitable. Again, they're not the dominant player there. And in e-commerce, they're diversified around the world, and they're seeing growth from all parts of the world. So they may have a challenge in parts of their business in the States, but in other parts of the world, they're going to continue to dominate and be able to dominate other sectors today where they're also not big players. They are a disrupting machine, and they can go anywhere in the world and do that.
Okay, Hedley, great to get your thoughts. Hedley Aylott there from Summit, Online Retail Consultants. Thank you. Let's stay in the US, where the latest GDP figures